Yeah, Arsenal then take all the 3 points. For more on this, let's welcome Shaka Hislop.
Oh, hey.
It's been keeping an eye on what's been going on in England today. Arsenal looked 2-0 up, Shaq, easy peasy, done and dusted. Didn't quite happen that way. Why not?
Well, it looked really easy in the first 45. I mean, they were in total control of the game. The only question marks for me is Arteta using Partey as a kind of hybrid right back come midfielder, which I didn't fully understand. But it worked wonderfully well sitting in the first 45. I will say Odegaard and Rice looked something special in the middle of the park. And then, kind of as anticipated, I'm really not sure what Kai Havertz offers Arsenal in all honesty, and he stuck with him for the entire game. And I can't think of a single thing that Kai Havertz did of note. Never mind making Arsenal better, nothing to even talk about. And then in the second half, I just felt that Arsenal were in total control without really pressing, looking for a goal. And in the end, Forest, on the counter-attack, made changes and got more attack-minded, got a goal back and had Arsenal at least uneasy. And the game got really interesting that last 15 or 20 minutes. But up until the Forest goal, it was kind of more of that first half dominance from Arsenal without any real cutting edge. So in the end, I feel as though the last 20 minutes were closer than it should have been. But Arsenal in complete control. And again, if I'm Arteta, I'm trying to figure out what to do with Havertz because it didn't make sense to me.
Well, this Havertz conversation is just going to rumble on. Mm-hmm. It's going to rumble and rumble. And look, it is very early, of course. But this, where do we play him? What's he going to offer? Is he going to show any consistency? I mean, don't forget, right, we kind of thought when he signed, this is maybe where Arteta was intimating he would play him, and I think we all thought at the time, well, that's a bit strange. You know, how many times did he play there for Chelsea, Leverkusen or Germany? I'll probably count in one hand. Probably not even that. So, how he's going to fit in here and be the more consistent player than we saw in the last 18 months, I don't know. And also remember, this is Nottingham Forest at home.
Yeah.
This is like, I can't remember the graphic there, 70-odd% possession, nearly 80%, I think, at times. And yet you're still not really showing your head and shoulders above the rest and really doing things in the game where you go, oh, that was a bit special. I mean, Shaq's talking about Rice and Odegaard. We saw the little bit of skill from Martinelli, the goal from Saka. But all we're talking about with Kai Havertz is, you know, consistency. What's he going to bring? What's he going to offer? And I just feel this is going to be hanging around Arteta's neck, particularly if they have a bad patch in the season, which is very early at the moment, obviously.
They just have to be very careful. Mikel Arteta has to be very careful with the fact that because you have this player and because you have made this investment, you feel like you have to find a place for him on the field. But don't change what made you successful last season. And don't change the structure of your group. Don't have Thomas Partey playing in this hybrid role that it looked like a right back. Is he a midfielder? Who knows? Obviously uncomfortable doing it. Just because you need to find, well, if Kai Havertz is not good enough to play as a center forward or hasn't been an option or is not a guy that is going to have an impact, then I have to find a place for him. And in doing that, you're sacrificing the balance and the structure and the identity of your team. So you have to be very careful into how much you're willing to gamble and bet with Kai Havertz as to where you put him and how much that changes the personality of your group.
How good's Saka, Shaq?
Incredible. Really is. He picks that ball up out on the right-hand side, and he has options ahead of him and kind of uses, I think it's Partey who runs by him and just almost uses him as a little bit of a decoy and just drops inside. And then once he does, I mean, we can't speak highly enough of the finish, but he hits it with absolutely no backlift, which gives Turner absolutely no chance. And it seems fussless, I guess is the word I can come up with. That he's doing this without even thinking about it. And I mean, it really is a special finish from a special player who just, as good as he was last season, I mean, I know we were only a game in, but he just seems to be growing in confidence, growing in maturity, and growing in talent, if if I might be able to say that.
Are you making up words, Doctor? Fussless was that?
Fussless.
I'm sure it's in the dictionary somewhere. You just have to look very carefully.
Yeah,
Dan.
thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.